You know what? We're adding background music.
Works for me.
There we go. I feel like I'm in a vlog. You know, vlog videos?
Yeah.
That is a perfect introduction to the Pieper Sports Podcast. Ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, Clippers fans, welcome to the Pieper Sports Podcast. We're joined today by NBA host, NBA commentator, I suppose.
Appreciate that.
Brendan, say hellos, give me your shout-outs, whatever you want to do.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. NBA here. On the other side of the glass for this occasion. And today is a celebration of sorts.
Celebration, he says. A celebration for parity being returned to the NBA. And just a whole merger of news. NBA free agency hitting us like a freaking tank, you know? It's been an interesting week. Teams changed, players changed. Thunder just said, F the NBA, rebuilding. It's just the whole 9 yards of what the hell just happened. And it's our job to tell you our opinion and recap it.
I will say this. Couple notes. And this is why I'm not jumping up and down for joy, because I'd be inappropriate right now. I will say, one, I'm happy to see that the Clippers are finally, like, they're in the news for actually good reasons, as opposed to pretty much nothing. Now there's a few concerns. One, if the Clippers and Lakers end up being a Christmas Day matchup, that's going to be fun. But now, kind of one of the questions is,
okay,
why
am I getting an ad? Sorry.
But one of the questions is now, where does Westbrook go from here?
Oh, it's scary because Westbrook could really go anywhere. And you know what? Actually, we have a caller.
Oh, Lord.
And you know, say hello. This is hello.
Hello?
Hi there. So this is Richard James. He called on a previous video a while back that never got uploaded.
That's a big F you.
Yeah. We did a video right before the NBA draft. Richard called in, gave us really cool opinions about Kawhi, you know, Toronto, and we're like, nah, not getting uploaded because I was too lazy to edit the video in time.
That's a huge F you.
Well, Richard, we're recapping NBA free agency. As you are well aware,
Chip City.
As you're well aware, Kawhi goes to the Clippers. You are a Toronto Raptors fan.
PG-13.
How did this hit you? Like a brick fucking wall?
As much as I want to...
He already sounds so depressed, I'm sorry.
But he did what a man named DeMar DeRozan couldn't do in 7 to 9 years, so I can't be too mad. All I can do is just give my undoubting thank you for what he's done, because without him, we wouldn't have a championship right now. So I can't even be relatively mad at the man. All I can say is thank you.
I do have a question. I have a question for you, sir, if you can hear me.
That's where I'm at.
So at least most of us, I'm sure you have too, have seen the tribute kind of video they did to Kawhi and Danny, thanking them, and rightfully so. Now, do you believe that this warrants them to have like a statue as the next step, or their jerseys retired?
No.
Okay.
No, jersey retirement for sure. He's the one man to bring a championship to the city. You got to retire his jersey at this point.
I mean,
if Andre Iguodala can get a jersey retirement, Kawhi Leonard can get
and KD for no apparent good reason.
You know, I'll say this. You know, Kevin Durant brought championships to Golden State, although they would have won in some anyway. Kawhi was one. He's the only player in NBA history to go to a new NBA team after winning Finals MVP. Toronto would have been a nice place for him to land because, I mean, he has history there now. He's made history. He is history. It's sad seeing him leave.
He's a kid.
That is totally true.
From Southern
From
Southern California.
That is totally true.
Want to bring a ring home.
And I will say this. I will say this. I mean, at least when he did leave, it was because he wanted to go home and not somewhere else.
He did what LeBron did, except didn't leave the first time. He just never got a chance to play in his hometown. Now he has a chance to do that and win a championship. Him and Paul George now.
That's right.
Supporting cast.
That's right.
I think it's interesting to look into how Kawhi Leonard just destroyed the Thunder, recruited Paul George, who's on the second year of a 4-year max contract, and then made the Clippers contenders. Like, what spawned this amazed me. How did... what spawned OKC to just say, you know what, we're in a full rebuild now? Is it because they did get 5 first-round picks from the Clippers and then that Alexander kid and then Gallinari? Did they just say, you know what, it's an offer we can't refuse? Because this is looking like a fantasy rebuild you do in, 2K.
You gotta look at it as, you have so many first-round exits with a team like that. I'm not saying they were never bad. It's just when you have that many first-round exits as a team, you got to start looking at what the fuck is the problem. If you're getting knocked out by the Blazers with 2 players, that's cautious. That's worrisome.
No, I mean, you're right. I mean, it is worrisome if you get knocked out years in a row. But at the same time, they have an MVP candidate there are 2 MVP candidates on their team, a guy that averages a triple-double every year, stat padding or not, and then one of the best players in the whole NBA, along with a young core in Steven Adams and Jeremy Grant, who both look like they're going to be traded very, very soon. I mean, what did Kawhi Leonard do that just kind of destroyed this league?
I won't say I won't say he destroyed it. First off, I won't say he destroyed it. I'll say he actually made it more competitive as opposed to making another freaking super team. I will say that. I will also say this has got to be the worst noticeable downside of a pattern for Russell Westbrook that I've seen as far as having partners in crime.
Yeah.
He has gotten broken up with so many times in a short period of time, it's ridiculous.
What Kawhi Leonard has brought to the table is he's likable by everyone. Whether you agree that he's hated in the Spurs or whatever for what he did, which I thought he was the smart decision to do, he can bring people together now and make a championship team. We've seen it twice now. So, of course, the appeal to Paul George is, hey, I want a ring. Everyone's around me's getting a ring. KD, LeBron, Kawhi, again. You got to think, I got to do what's best for me. If I'm playing with Russ and I've had, 2-3 first-round exits, even though he's an MVP candidate, even he can play at the highest level, something's not working here. I got to do what's best for me, and I got to do what I need to do to go win a ring, just like what KD did. Even though KD didn't. Was it right to do at the time? No. Was it right to leave a team that beat you, that came back from a 3-1 deficit? No.
Hell no.
But KD said, hey, we can't win like this. I can't win like this in my career. I got to go do what I got to go do to win and Finals MVP and feel what it feels like to be a world champion. And that's what Paul George is now seeing in his career.
My one major concern when it comes to this, everybody knew there was a really good chance that Kawhi's going to go to L.A., whether it be Lakers, Clippers. Paul George was kind of that shock, but here's my big question. Other than why did OKC decide on a full rebuild? Why does everybody leave Russell Westbrook? I mean, other than the fact that, he's not necessarily a ball hog, but he's a stat patter. It's one of the things like, yeah, he gets the ball a lot, high usage rate, just making sure that consistently he gets the ball. But nobody says that he's really a horrible player to play with. Nobody says that he's, annoying to play with. They always say he's a good teammate. He has a lot of spark. He's a competitor. Why do people leave Westbrook?
His play style.
That's true.
That's what it comes down to.
His play style, I would say. I will say
his attitude.
His attitude, definitely. I will also say, I'll give him credit though. He made the transition from when he was with KD, Harden, Ibaka, those guys, to when he teamed up with Paul George. He did improve a little bit. He wasn't.
Yeah, he made a.
He wasn't as much of a ball hog, but I still.
Now he's going to average 40, 17, and 20 a night because he's by himself again.
My thing that I think, he can be in contention as one of the greatest Thunder to ever play if he stays. And I know he's talking to his agent. I know he's talking with the front office of the Thunder and saying, you know what, I'm considering, I want to be traded. And they're going through a full rebuild. But I really want to see Russ stay in OKC because if he stays there his entire career, he's the greatest Thunder player ever. I mean, there's contention that he can go to Miami with Jimmy Butler, which I think would be kind of interesting. It'd get another duo of stars in the league, which there are a shit ton right now. Or there's an idea that he could go to the Rockets to pretty much a CP3 for Russ trade, which I think would be a great trade for nobody.
You really hate that CP3 contract, don't you?
Why would you pay a guy $40 million for the next, 6 years, who's going to be 38?
I will also say there was speculation of that, too, of a Harden-Westbrook reunion in Houston. But
which would be beautiful because they get along more so than him and KD.
Yeah, Richard. Rich, I just have to say, that basketball is played with only one basketball on the court at a time, right?
Yes, but you got to when you think about it, one of them's going to humble themselves, whether they're going to like it or not, because Mike D'Antoni's the coach, and he doesn't play that ball hog stuff. So
yeah, he does. James Harden had 40% usage rate last season. Yeah. If you put Russ on the court at the same time,
would you rather have Chris Paul with the ball in your hand at clutch time? Come on, let's.
I would rather have a playmaker with the ball in his hand. This is a choice where I would rather say I'd rather have CP3 with the ball because he's a playmaker than Russ, especially since Russ can't shoot. Who would you rather have shooting the ball at clutch time? If you needed a clutch three to win the game, would you rather have CP3 or Russell Westbrook?
Or Steph Curry or Dame Lillard?
That's a no-brainer. That's obviously CP3. He's that guy for when you need a three in late situations, whatever, he'll show up. Even though Russell Westbrook, it's just going to be interesting. It'll be interesting if they
or someone else has proven that he can do it, and he did it against the Thunder. Dame Lillard.
Yeah. True.
The dismantling of the OKC Thunder leaves a few players that are also going to be traded and have already been traded. As of this morning, Jeremy Grant, a versatile wing player, was sent to Denver for the Nuggets for a 2020 first-round pick. So getting a versatile wing sent to the Nuggets, and that leaves 6 acquired first-round picks for the OKC Thunder.
I know that makes you happy.
Where is Steven Adams going next? What teams need a big? What teams need a young big that's 25 years old? And Steven Adams, who's also a brawler. I mean, he's a bully. Who needs Steven Adams? Who's going to trade for him?
If the Thunder were smart, I wouldn't get rid of Steven Adams. In my view of the thing, because he's probably the second best player on that team now. And if you want Russ to stay, you have to build around those two at the moment.
Now, I don't know if Russ is going to stay is my thing. So I don't know if Russ is wanting to stay regardless. So If you were the Thunder front office, would you want to trade Steven Adams if somebody was going to give you 2 first-round picks?
So that means 8 first-round picks in the next, 3 years?
8 first-round picks in the next 5 years. Sorry.
Jeez. It would be interesting. I don't...
And I mean, you looked at players. You can acquire players for... You can acquire superstars for 3 first-round picks and a player, a veteran. OKC could rebuild very, very fast if they have this amount of picks and they just start trading them away. It'll be interesting.
Although I gotta say though, if you do end up trading Adams, would you make a deal with an Eastern Conference opponent, or would you try to do it in the West? Because I can think of a couple teams in the East that might be able to put him to definitely good use. At least as a backup, if not a starter.
I think the East has more teams that need bigs. I think there's so much competition in the West that if you do trade him to the West, it'd be wasting somebody's talents.
What I'm saying is the Heat do need a new big.
That would be an interesting setup if it was Jimmy Butler, Russell Westbrook, and Steven Adams.
That's true.
That would be the new South Beach trio that would compete really, really well.
Boston also needs a big.
They did sign Enes Kanter, but there's nothing saying you can't trade Enes Kanter.
Although Enes Kanter and Steven Adams reuniting in Boston would be pretty fun to watch.
I think there's a lot of different ways that OKC could play this to where they could get some good assets, and they do have they still have Dennis Schroeder they can trade. They could completely dismantle this team and then work some free agents next year because there's some interesting free agents in the upcoming years.
True.
But I really like where this OKC team
can go for Cole
can
Anthony
rebuild.
Next year's draft.
That's interesting.
Because Cole Anthony is the number 1 prospect in the 2020 draft class, if I'm not mistaken.
I think he's top 3. I can't remember if he's 1, 2, or 3.
He's first, I think. And I don't know if LaMelo's top 5, so they can always get Cole Anthony from UNC. LaMelo's playing over. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff they could do.
The future of OKC.
Pretty much.
This has been tossed out into the universe too, Westbrook and Cat.
Now, I talked about this with Richard. The potential of Cat getting traded to, was it the Rockets? There's potential of Cat getting traded to, what was the other team we said he could have gotten traded to make a big trio, Rich?
The Warriors for D'Angelo Russell.
Yes, that's interesting because apparently the Warriors are fielding offers for D'Angelo Russell, so we hear.
I've known that, yeah.
It will be interesting to see because I would love to see Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and Karl Anthony Towns at the court at the same time.
Don't forget Draymond Green.
and Draymond Green.
Everyone
Draymond?
forgets about Draymond.
That'd be one of the scariest lineups in the league, and flip a young asset for a young tall asset.
I honestly wouldn't fault Cat if he ended up being a Warrior because he's gotten his bumps being in Minnesota as it is. So that and plus he's taking his teachings from one of the greatest to ever do it in KG. He's taking that to a great team. So
happy Kevin Love treatment to Cat, right? Well, Rich, I'll let you go in a second here, but do you have any final comments on NBA free agency, any predictions, any thoughts, any potential trades other than the OKC Clippers?
Excuse my French, but fuck the Knicks.
Oh, no, you're right. You're right.
They went in with such high hopes just to get cucked by not one, but every team in the league.
Well, then.
That's interesting.
Well, I guess it's just back to you now. You could catch Richard, I think he's Cairo Eclipse on Twitter. You can catch him on 2K underneath Bum Ass Boy. Just kidding.
What a mic drop, though.
I know, right? Fuck the Knicks, and then he's gone. He's gone. Eliminated from the contention.
I mean, I'm sure there's millions of people that feel that way because the Knicks, they literally didn't pull the trigger on any good free agents.
They got Julius Randle on a decent contract, Bobby Portis, Taj Gibson.
Yeah.
They really signed nobody of value, which is interesting. I find funny.
No, nobody. They signed good players. I'll give them that. Just nobody that they can say this guy can help take us over the top.
Let's just say if you have $60 million in money, nobody wants to see you sign Julius Randle, Bobby Portis, Taj Gibson. You know what I mean?
Not even close.
Because a year ago, everybody was saying Knicks getting Zion, Knicks getting KD, Knicks getting Kyrie.
Yes.
How many of those did they get? How about here? I'll do this for you. Did they get Kyrie?
No.
Did they get KD?
Fuck no.
Did they get Zion?
Of course not.
Fuck the Knicks. And this was interesting. It was brought up a couple days ago to me. You know, when free agency was kind of the initial flurry of free agency was over, people started saying like nobody's going towards these teams with storied histories anymore. No big free agents sign with the Lakers, who have a storied history, the Knicks with a storied history, and I'm interested to hear what your idea is on that, because it's true. These two storied franchises didn't land any major free agents, with the exception of Danny Green to the Lakers, which is whatever. But it's intriguing.
It's ironic. I will say the Danny Green thing's ironic. For first and foremost, hashtag James Dolan's a bum.
You know, I'll ask this. Should James Dolan sell the team?
Yes.
Should he sell the team?
Yes. No question.
Why?
Because he's made it very clear he doesn't know squat about basketball, number one.
He's made it clear that he doesn't care.
He doesn't care, number two.
And his music is shit.
And his music is shit.
But if James Dolan is watching this, love your stuff. Love a place within your organization. Let me know if you ever need somebody. But damn, man.
Number four, if you're getting into gripes with a fan who said you should sell the team, and you attempt to ban that fan for life, what does that say about you?
Well, like I talked about this as it happened. It was in one of my earliest podcasts I did. I talked about that fan and talking about fan involvement with organizations and front offices. And I said, I really, really want fans to know their role and their place, but you can't take it that seriously. If somebody yells at me, if I'm KD and not next season, the season after that, somebody goes, you should have stayed in Golden State. You should have done something like that. I can't look over at him and be like, ban that guy. You should have retired. Ban that guy. Don't ban him. He should. It's not being courteous. It's not being a nice person, but it's being.
I mean,
it's part of the fan involvement. If you're getting paid millions of dollars, if you have millions of dollars, you are a public figure. Criticism is okay.
I totally agree, and plus we got to compare it to something else. It's not like it's the whole debacle between the Utah fan and Westbrook. I think it was last year. It's not on that scale. By the way, the fans in Utah. I'm not even gonna get started. Anyway, but it's not to that scale, but that's when you know that you're in a place you don't belong solely because somebody gave it to you, bought it for you, and not because you actually wanted it. And as far as the Knicks go, that's just another thing. At least I'll say this. At least with the two LA teams, Lakers and Clippers, at least they both got a matchup that we're gonna love to see. They both have a battle that we're gonna love to see. You can't say that about the Nets and the Knicks.
Well, it's the thing about chemistry, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course, you can have a big-time player, but if they don't mend well, then it's just going to turn into another Kyrie in Boston situation.
Right.
Like, wow, they have so many talented players. They have youthful players. They have players that have proven they can perform at the highest moments. But if they don't merge well together, then it's just going to be this weird mixture of talents and shitty basketball. Like, people that don't care about performing. And it's like, Kyrie KD is going to be that, I don't know how well LeBron and AD are going to play together. They did re-sign Rondo. That's going to be interesting. They re-signed McGee, Kyle Kuzma.
That's true. After Kawhi basically set up yours, that the Lakers pretty much they said, "We're sorry, guys. You want to come back?" That's basically what happened.
Well, yeah, I mean, they didn't sign anywhere. Obviously, they're probably looking other places, but I guarantee the Lakers front office was like, don't sign anywhere yet, because if we don't get Kawhi, you're coming back. That's guaranteed what they were saying.
Not only that, but Mr. Laker himself, Magic Johnson, did have a conversation with Kawhi, and you can imagine how that probably went.
Dude, don't sign here. Don't do it. Don't do it. They closed the door. Genie Bus walked out of the room, and then Magic went, run. Go across the hall.
The franchise that I stepped down from, I imagine he still probably did a little bit of recruiting because he is a Laker for life. But I imagine Kawhi, he pays attention. He's like, why are you recruiting me to the team that you stepped down from?
Well, he requested that Magic Johnson be in the room along with Genie Bus.
Right.
Which was interesting to me because I'm like, why did he want Magic Johnson there? But I knew exactly the second that he wanted Johnson there, the second he wanted Magic in the same room, he was going to be like, why did you leave? What's the reason? Because
he wanted someone who, unlike Genie Bus, is going to keep it 100 with him. And Magic if that's one thing Magic can do, he keeps it 100. He does it with a smile, but he keeps it 100. Genie Bus still does not have that backbone that her father had.
I mean, yeah, because when it was passed down to the son, he didn't do very well. Genie Bus is very similar to that. Just the management of Lakers organization has went downhill. And
I will say this. Let's see how she now has an entire season ahead of her to prove everybody that she can do this. So I say we'll see how this pans out. But I will say, whether it's preseason, regular season, or postseason, Clippers, Lakers, it's going to be fun to watch.
You know, the future of the NBA, parity's been returned. Kawhi's kind of dismantled a Western Conference team. He forced them into a rebuild, which I think is hilarious. That's one player going, Doc, give me this player, and I'm signing with you. All right, here's 1 million picks, dismantling your team. The fact that he dismantled the team, he's returned parity to the NBA. The future of the NBA is so uncertain but exciting that it's just changed our whole outlook for the next season. It's changed our outlook for the next 3 seasons.
I will say this also. I think it's good that you have someone in PG-13 who is going to be no contest ready to play, obviously, way before KD. Because he, I think PG is still recovering from shoulder surgery that he had.
Yeah, but he'll be ready by the time I believe season comes around. I think he'll be ready for preseason.
Yeah, season comes around in mid to late October, so I think he'll be ready, and I think that's going to be fun to watch. I think it's going to be interesting, nonetheless, to watch the Boogie AD reunion as Lakers. I don't know if that's going to serve any purpose, because I think basically what the Lakers did, with the exception of Danny Green, I think basically what they did is they just picked up all the remaining scraps from free agency.
You know what? You were on our team last year. You're a shooter, and I'll sign you to the veteran minimum. LeBron and AD going, here, take $4 million from my money under the table. We won't talk about it, but just come here. We'll figure something out. And I think that was their last choice. I think it's a smarter choice, but I think it was the
not to mention
whatever. But
not to mention, I've seen the video of Sweet Lou and Patrick Beverly, their reaction to seeing Kawhi joining their team.
I actually haven't seen that.
It's on Twitter. You should look at it. They're ecstatic. never seen them so happy.
Shit, I would be too. But regardless, we do have to get out of here. So I'll say this. Watch some NBA Summer League. It just got hit by an earthquake, but other earth-shattering decisions have hit the league.
So did free agency.
And, the NBA is going to be fun this year. So watch some Summer League. It's on ESPN. I know that for sure.
Millions and millions of dollars changing hands and teams during free agency.
Billions. Sorry, sir. But watch some Summer League. Watch some preseason. You'll see a lot of different cool, interesting storylines going into this year. And keep us in the know. Comment on the videos, like, comment, subscribe.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, shout out your show one more time.
Well, we got Baller Talk with Brady. It's going to be coming off of vacation pretty soon here. We got Sports Talk with O'Shea, which hopefully will be making a comeback. And I will say this, as far as the Summer League, to all the Zion lovers out there, not sorry. But I will say this. I think the Pelicans and the Grizzlies, considering what happened with the trades, they're going to at least be interesting.
Save it for the next video. Or save it for Baller Talk with Brady later today.
Sounds like
regardless, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification afterwards so you can get updated on every single video that I upload to the channel and every single interaction I have with other people regarding this.
The videos that he actually uploads.
The videos that I actually upload and the callers that actually have their time not wasted. Regardless, see you guys later. They'll be uploaded next week.
Later.